mulțumesc, Mara. Veniți să mă vedeți la episodul The Crossroads.
And as an international student, I'm curious of your perspective regarding the housing crisis. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah. It's a tricky situation. It's such a tricky situation because not even the government can do anything about it. It's just the Netherlands is so densely populated. And there are so many people. And I know students who are or were homeless.
Right. Hello, everyone. I am Teratai, owner and intercultural trainer at Pro Compass Coaching and Training. Now here at the Crossroads, I will be having that heart-to-heart and one-to-one chats with internationals from all around the world, as well as locals here in the Netherlands. Now, in today's episode, I'm really excited because I will be having that chat with an international university student here in the Netherlands, and she is from Romania. Now, please welcome my guest for today, Mara. Hey, Mara. Welcome to the episode.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, tell us more about yourself, where you're from, and tell us more about you.
Yeah, so as you said, I'm from Romania. I grew up in a pretty small town in the northern part of Romania, so it's super close to Ukraine. I studied social sciences in high school. I don't know what else is relevant. I was an only child. I am an only child, so it's always been me and my parents and our two dogs. So yeah, and there still is, but a bit more further away.
You were saying that you grew up in a small town in Romania, and now you live in the Netherlands. Is there like a big contrast to where you grew up and where you're living now?
I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Because when you're walking on the street and it doesn't feel super comfortable because it's such a big city. For example, when I'm here in Amsterdam,
right?
It's first of all very crowded, which was quite a shock for me. So many people going in all directions. It's very chaotic. It kind of takes a lot of energy to just walk in Amsterdam for a few hours. But yeah, I think that's the main difference, honestly. Just a lot of people, a lot of chaos happening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it must be quite a big difference because I grew up in Singapore. It's super an intense country, super modern. So when I came to the Netherlands, I found it less people for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, it's really funny. So that's why I was really curious that, you grew up in a small, quiet town in Romania, and then you came to Amsterdam and you feel that it's too busy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Was that something that you had to get used to?
I think it's something I'm still getting used to after 2.5 years since I moved here. I actually live in The Hague, but I'm spending a lot of time in Amsterdam. So I think I'm still getting used to it. It's still draining some of my energy every day. Yeah.
All right. So what are the other things that you are still getting used to here in the Netherlands?
I mean, I'm learning about culture every day, the cultural differences, the things I'm used to, and maybe are not that normal here.
Right. So what's normal for you and not normal here for you in the Netherlands?
I would say asking questions. It's something I struggled with for a bit, but now I think I'm starting to understand how this works because in my culture, you don't usually ask that many questions. You don't want to sound stupid.
Right.
You at least have to act like you know what you're doing and do your best, and maybe then ask questions, but not really. Like, try not to.
So it is as you are growing up in Romania through your schooling that this type of questioning it's more restricted. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. Like we couldn't really ask our teachers that many questions about the about school, about the things we had to do, about our projects, we couldn't really ask questions because we were considered a bad student, or just why, or I don't know, we were scolded for not paying attention.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
So to ask questions would mean to question the teachers, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and also just seem like you're not interested or you're not paying attention, which usually that's not the case, but yeah,
Yeah.
that is how it's seen.
And you find it very different here in the Netherlands that oh, questions are all welcomed.
Yeah, yeah, I think people are very excited to hear your questions, especially now. And um since I started my internship, I'm working with a lot of Dutch people, so they really want me to ask questions. They're telling me sometimes it's okay, be annoying, it's fine. It's all right. So yeah, that was quite a shock for me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I understand that you're doing your internship, and it is part of being a university student here in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah,
So
it's part of my story.
how's your journey in being an international student here, and how's the internship going?
Well, uh studying here was not my dream at first,
Mm-hmm.
but I love it. I love being here. I love what I'm doing. I love every single thing I'm learning here. But the first year of university was quite a challenge for me. The second year was a bit better because I already knew what was happening. I already knew what the expectations were, the grading system. But I can get into that after that. And uh, now I'm doing my internship for RAI Amsterdam,
Mm-hmm.
which was a very spontaneous thing. I never expected I would work here, or um, it was a nice it was a nice experience because I actually was looking for an internship, and I
Mm-hmm.
was approached by someone here that from their by their HR manager.
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, they told me, yeah, we really need someone. And now when I'm talking to my supervisor, she told me that they were desperate. They really needed an intern and they were so desperate. And yeah, it was a nice match.
Yeah, so it's a good match between
Yeah.
you and RAI Amsterdam.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a very Dutch company, so I'm learning a lot, a lot. It's a lot of information at once. But I like it. I really love it.
What do you like about working with this Dutch company, as you kept saying?
I first of all, also something that I wasn't used to is the fact that the power distance is not that big. So there is, I mean, I'm talking to my managers, like I'm talking to colleagues, like I'm talking to, I don't know, other interns. It's um, it's really different from what I was used to, definitely.
Right, because the
Bigger,
power
big.
distance back in Romania is a lot bigger, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's much bigger, and there is this thing I call the fake respect.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to respect your elders, you have to
The
respect,
hierarchy.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You have to respect anyone that's higher than you on the hierarchy. Um, so that was a big thing, really. But very positive because I feel much more comfortable talking to someone one on one when I don't know I don't have to respect them.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine it took quite some time for you to adjust, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First, honestly, it did, but actually, I it wasn't that much time. Because I was always a bit angry on the situation and in Romania, the fact that we have to act like we respect people by
Mm,
just not talking back or not being impolite. But I was always angry that I never understood why.
right,
And when I came here, I realized that it's not like this everywhere. So yeah,
right,
it kind of matched my expectations, my
right.
hopes. Yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned before that Netherlands was not your first choice, right? So what pushed you to come to the Netherlands in the end to study?
There were multiple reasons for I actually wanted to study in the UK. But after Brexit, I couldn't really afford to go anymore. So I had to find another country. And I was in high school and I had this friend who was already studying here.
Right.
She was super excited about it. She was so happy. She told me that, everyone speaks English here and everyone is so happy, so healthy, everything, parties are great. It's it's a really nice country, but I haven't visited the Netherlands before I came here. So I just knew things from what I read online and what I heard from my friend. So I started looking into it, and I had to apply to university half a year before I finished high school. So it was sooner than Dutch students had to apply.
Okay.
And I also started dating my current partner.
Right.
And he was also planning on going to the Netherlands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. His brother actually studied here, and he was super excited about it as well, because we didn't really have that many choices in Romania. Maybe we didn't have the opportunities to grow, to expand our horizons.
Right.
So we started talking about it too. And I remember before we even started dating, he was telling me about it, like, yeah, it's a cool country. I heard about it. It's my brother went there. Could
Oh,
be
this is really cool. Wow, so
yeah.
nice that you already have ties here. And when we were talking before, you did mention there's actually a big Romanian community here in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah. For example, in my university in The Hague, I think there are 3 Romanian people in total, or like maximum 5, I don't know. But I talked to some people, and for example, in Delft, their community is huge. Like, I have friends from high school who are studying there, and they have a huge group of friends who are only Romanians. So yeah, I heard
Yeah.
there's quite a big community.
Nice. So it does turn out that, Netherlands is quite an attraction from students, in this case, from Romania, like
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah. I think it, first of all, because of everyone speaks English and it's easy to communicate. And well, the universities are very good, and their just educational system is pretty good for objectively. It's pretty good.
Right. Yeah. And how is life as an international university student here? Because you mentioned that you had to apply 6 months ahead than the regular students here. So I imagine that there are good things, but there are also certain things that you had to take note of.
Yeah, it was well, just moving here was a big step in general.
Right.
It was a big challenge, and I lost some friends. I made some new friends. It was an amazing learning process. Especially the first year
Right.
was very challenging, because I didn't know that many people here, and um it was even small things like how a report should look like, or what the expectations of teachers are, or just how to approach classes, the fact that I
Right.
shouldn't be late. So this is something I really learned in the first year.
What happened? You shouldn't be late. Like, what happened there?
uh I had a teacher in the first year who got pretty angry because I was late like 5 minutes.
Mm.
um he was a bit of a weird person, but yeah. And well, of course I was confused at first, like, it's just 5 minutes, why are
Right.
you getting mad? But then I realized it's how things work here, and this are the expectations. So now I'm usually not late anymore.
The punctuality,
Ever.
right, in the Dutch business culture is quite well known.
Yeah, exactly.
So in Romania, when you arrive a little bit about 5 minutes later, it's okay. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends from person to person because my mom, she's always on time.
Mm-hmm.
She's really always on time and she cares about that a lot. But usually, yeah, you can be 5 minutes late. It's fine.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's okay.
okay. I think
Accept.
it's all right.
Yeah.
I heard you say that when you moved to the Netherlands, it is difficult, and then you had lost friends. Is that something you can share about?
Um, yeah, it was I had a group of friends in high school
Yeah, back in
and
Romania. Yeah.
yeah. And I think we kind of
Drifted?
just yeah, drifted apart and we just stopped talking and seeing each other and just things just happened. Um, but it's okay. It took me a while to accept it because they were really close friends and we were
Oh,
always hanging out, we were always being together. But yeah, that was a learning process as well. Um, Learning how to be by myself and just enjoying time alone. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I can empathize with that because I myself moved from Singapore
Mhm.
and I had like really close friends growing up. I moved to the Netherlands when I was 29, so like much older than you. And I realized that when you move, um, some friendships don't survive, right? When you,
Exactly.
for myself, I became the inconvenient friend,
Mm-hmm.
the one that you cannot just call and meet up, right? And over time that friendship fade. Was that something? Was it alike to what you went through?
Yeah, it kind of felt like that with some friends. Um, Other friendships that I had were supposed to come to an end earlier than this, so my move was just the fact that I moved was just what it was needed for
Right.
the situation.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it kind of became inconvenient. But the friends I still have from back in Romania are the most amazing people ever. So
Right.
it's
Yeah. You really realize who will stick around you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I I have two best friends that still from Singapore that still calls me every week.
Oh,
Yeah, and we have a call on one is on Monday and one is on Friday, and they are the ones that stuck with me through my move. And I've been in the Netherlands for the last 6 years, and I think in moments like that, you realize that wow, these friends I think will be here for life, and I hope that your friends that are still here for you will still be here for you for ages on, for from years
yeah.
on. Yeah.
I hope so too.
Ah, yeah. Now, no, the main reason why I want to have this episode is that I want people to understand that moving abroad can seem really rosy, right? Right, like oh, living abroad, oh, you live in the Netherlands, there's a lot of canals and tulips, right? But what are some of the challenges that you face? You spoke about like learning how to ask questions, being on time, But what are some of the challenges that as a university student here that you would like people to know?
Honestly, yeah, first of all, I really agree with you. People tend to romanticize living abroad,
Right.
especially on social media. Um, it's not the best thing ever, but I lately I've seen some accounts, some influencers that are showing life abroad without romanticizing it, just like showing it raw with the rain, with annoying people, with yeah, everything that's happening. So yeah, I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think yeah, honestly, one of the biggest challenges was learning to be by myself.
Mm.
Which was well, it's not a cultural thing necessarily, but it's an experience that I am sure most like 99% of international students or expats are going to face when they're moving abroad.
Right.
It's definitely a thing because it's difficult to focus on the life you're building here and learning the culture and understanding how things work and having the time and energy to start making friends or keep in touch with older friends. Just creating that connection, I think it's quite difficult.
Yes.
So that's something people necessarily should definitely keep in mind. Yeah.
Right. Because at least in the first few months or the first years, all you're trying to do is trying to survive the
Exactly.
foreign environment
You're
that you're
in
in, right?
survival mode. Yeah. Yeah.
I understand that fully. Because when I first moved to the Netherlands, I mean, I knew how to cycle, back in Singapore. But the first month that I moved to the Netherlands, I was trying to cycle around the city and I broke my foot, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. And it's not even like an exciting story of me trying to save a cat or something. I just broke my foot. And people don't realize that international, when they first come in, they're just trying to survive, And when I speak to locals here, they always laugh at me like, you broke your foot cycling? But I can understand, it sounds so trivial, right? But if people realize that, oh, there are certain things that you gotta get used to, and sometimes in the rush of trying to fit in, you end up getting hurt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that applies for a lot of from trying to make friends, trying to ride a bike, trying to learn the language, because it's a big thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who, in moments in like this, who do you go to for support?
Mostly my parents. I'm
Who's back in
so
Romania?
grateful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We talk on the phone or um yeah, we talk almost every day or every 2 days. And I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful.
Right.
So they've been my number one support. And my partner, because we live together, we go through similar challenges. We understand each other from that point of view as well. So that's great, I think, for both of us.
Right. Yeah. And as a university student, do you get support from like the local community?
Yes and no.
Right.
Um, there are some official counselors at
Mm-hmm.
school. But even on the website, it's mentioned that you need to contact them for very bad situations like,
Ah, I see.
I don't know, death in your family, or if you're super depressed or you're thinking about quitting the study, which I
When
get.
it's extreme, right?
Yeah, but it's quite extreme, so you don't really have any support if you just want to talk or
I
just,
see.
yeah.
So this is something that international students would need.
Yeah, yeah. I think it varies from university to university. So there are universities, I'm sure, or even campuses that from InHolland that offer much more support or
Right.
many more opportunities.
Right.
But in my case, yeah, we don't really have that much support. I think they
Right.
want to offer support, but they
They may
just,
not know how, I
yeah, or they're
suppose.
not prioritizing it.
I see.
But that's
Yeah.
also something to keep in mind for international students. Just don't expect to have all the support they promise to give you,
Right.
because on the website, of course, they're mentioning it. We have counselors, we have everything for you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is important for
Yeah.
people to understand, right? Like moving abroad to study comes with its challenges, right? And then there are certain issues like you mentioned about how to be by yourself, because that's also something new. That's also something that I had to learn, because in Singapore, back home, I had my friends and family. There's like the support network that's already been established, and then you moved, and you have to rebuild everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think this is something, especially for those in the globally mobile community, who are moving for the first time, they should be aware, because like small things can build up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Of
And
course, yeah. Yeah. And you sometimes don't expect it. There are just things you could never think of. Um, just like this. You won't think that you might learn how to be alone or how to just take time for yourself. I never
indeed,
thought that this was gonna happen when I came here.
right.
It was really a surprise.
And as an international student, I'm curious of your perspective regarding the housing crisis. Like, what's
Mhm.
your take on that? Yeah.
Uh, it's a tricky situation. It's such a tricky situation because not even the government can do anything about it. It's just um the Netherlands is so densely populated and there are so many people, and I know students who are or were homeless
Right,
and just living on the streets because they couldn't find a place to stay in.
right.
Anything like a dorm room. There was nothing for them.
Wow. And who can these international students go to, or are they really left on their own?
You don't really have that many options. Even for me, it was quite a struggle when I started looking for housing because I started looking many months in advance. Like I think it was 5 months before I had to move,
Right,
just because I wanted to make sure I can find something that's decent. And I didn't really have high expectations. I just wanted a room of my own and, you know, not paying too much for it because everything is so expensive here.
you're right.
And I did. I found a room in a pretty unsafe
Budget,
neighborhood.
right,
It wasn't super unsafe, but it was I heard some pretty bad things about it.
right.
Um but
In The Hague,
mm,
in The Hague.
yeah, in The Hague.
All right.
I didn't hear bad things about it before I moved. I just heard it after. Oh, you're living there. Oh, I saw some news about this, I don't know, dangerous park next to it. Okay,
Okay, good to
here.
know.
Yeah,
Nice
good to
to hear.
know. Thank you. And I was living with two housemates, a girl from Germany, and a guy from the US. And it was quite an experience. We weren't the best housemates. Didn't really get along that well.
Right.
Um, but then I was super lucky to find an apartment next to my university.
Mm,
Just because I sent them my email to add me to a waiting list.
right.
I had no idea what that it was. I just sent an email. Hi, I would like a room. Yeah, we will add you to the waiting list. That's fine. And that's I got the room, actually a studio. It's a small studio. Almost a year after I applied.
Oh, wow. So you wrote to your university and they added you on a waiting list after being in the Netherlands for how long was it by this time?
I think it was about half a year.
Okay.
Yeah, in which I lived even a bit more than half a year,
All
about
right.
6 months. Um, in which I lived in that neighborhood with my housemates.
Right. Okay. Wow. And how long did the process for you to even find that very first apartment with housemates?
Uh,
Did that take? Did you start looking for it when you were still in Romania or when you
yeah,
were?
yeah, about 4 months, 4 months in advance.
Yes,
Because I wasn't sure what to look for, so I really wanted to do my research.
of course.
Um, and I think that really helped the fact that I took my time to look for a room, and I found that I think it was um, about 3 months. I think it took me to find it and to actually decide that that's okay, it's fine. Let's just stick with it. And
Right. So if the timeline is correct, so you took 3 months to look for the first apartment. You were in the apartment for about 6 months.
Mhm.
And then after that, you are in the current place that you are right now, which you're happy in.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically. So it was about 8, 9 months
months.
to
Wow.
almost a year. I don't know exactly the dates, but
Yeah.
that was about it. Yeah.
Would you say that this is typical or are you one of the lucky ones?
I think I was lucky. I think I was pretty lucky to find that dorm room where I'm living now, the studio.
Right.
It's a
Yeah,
very
because
small studio. But I was quite lucky because like I said, I still know students who were homeless or
right,
living in hostels, which is not the best situation. You're in your first year, you want to focus on your studies, you are learning how to be an adult and
right,
clean for yourself, cook for yourself,
right,
but you don't have the means to do that. You literally don't have a kitchen.
right.
And it's really, really sad that
Yes, indeed. Because,
this gives.
the housing crisis, it does affect almost every level of society. And this is important to capture your story as an international university student here. I think moving abroad, this is one of the issues that we have to
Yeah,
grapple with. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy that you found a good place to stay, even though it took a while. But you didn't
Yeah,
give up. So that's the good thing. You didn't give
yeah,
up.
exactly. I was resilient. I was
Yeah. And
motivated.
I'm really happy that your university helped. That's also important because you need to have the right network, right?
Yeah, actually my university helped through just sending me to their website because
Right.
as my university I tried to just get as much information as possible. They had the listing on their website, but that was it. No
Right.
other support, um no one really guided me towards, you
Right.
could go there, just sign up here and go wait for a room, or I never got that.
I see. So a lot of it you found out on your own.
Yeah, yeah. I know that other universities are encouraging their students to uh either not come here or
Mm.
they are offering some support. They have some dorm rooms or they have a partnership with building owners that can
Right.
host
Right.
students and
Yeah. We can only hope that things get better, right? I think
yeah,
everybody is currently acknowledging the issues at hand and they are trying to find solutions. So I really hope that with you sharing your story here that it amplifies
yeah, I
the
really
issue at
hope so
hand.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, despite all the challenges that you face, I know that you are international creative business students, so you have your hopes and dreams, And what are your hopes and dreams, Mara?
Oh, it's a, a very good question. Um, First off, they always change, so I always find something
And
that
that's
would be
okay. Yeah.
interesting. That would be fun to try, and I'm really excited about this phase in my life because I'm so open to just opportunities and trying new things, and um, there's not that much at stake. I'm just experimenting with things I could do. But more precisely, this for this year, I would really love to start a blog, a travel blog. I was debating between writing about traveling or writing about being an international student. So I'll see how it goes, and I'll see if I have enough information to tell people. But I would like to start a travel blog because I'm always organizing my trips, and when I have a vacation or when I'm taking a few days off, I really love traveling in this area of around the Netherlands, in the Netherlands. Um, and I'm always super structured and super organized when I'm planning my trips.
Right.
I would love to share that with people because honestly, I'm both me and my partner are always looking for really fun things to do, like museums, like fun museums, experiences.
Right.
And you cannot really find many websites that um give you a list of super fun activities. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That'd be really, really cool. Because I like it that you are very resilient in living abroad, but you also see the opportunities that
Yeah.
are out there. And I know that you also have a business about beaded bracelets.
Yeah, I started this summer creating beaded bracelets and like necklaces like this. This is an exception because I'm not really making necklaces. Um, it started as a hobby. I really had a lot of free time this summer, and I thought, well, I could start something.
Right.
And now I have a lot of them, so I will soon open an Etsy store and maybe sell some of them.
Yeah, I really look forward to that. Right.
Yeah.
Like keep us posted on
Yeah,
your
I will
progress.
keep you updated, definitely.
Yeah, because you've been here for 2.5 years,
Mhm.
right? And you have gone through the survival process, the survival years, and now is a time
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you to thrive, And
exactly. Yeah, that's why I love this phase in my life. I'm super excited about it.
yeah, I just hearing you talk about it, there's this Dutch expression, kippenvel, that you have a little bit of a shiver down your back, but like in a good way. Like I listen you
Oh, just
talk,
the excitement.
yeah, like I'm excited for you because I think uh this is also important to capture, right, the challenges but also the best parts of living
Yeah,
abroad. Yeah.
absolutely. And there are so many good parts in moving abroad, definitely. Yeah.
Right. Now, what are your tips or advice for the globally mobile community, and with specifically to international university students who are thinking maybe it's Netherlands for them, or for those who are already here? What are your advice for them?
Um, First of all, I would say try not to romanticize
Mm.
living here. So just think of all the aspects from paperwork to the language to all the aspects that could go into it because you can Google it and you'll find definitely websites or blogs or there's this website that I used a lot. I'm expat.
Mm-hmm.
So just try and do your research first and then try to see if it aligns with what you actually want. Because I always wanted to go abroad and it was still a challenge. So take some time, reflect on it, try and see if this is actually what you want to do. And if it is, well, you're in for a treat.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, those are very good tips, especially for the young minds that are coming into the Netherlands. Be prepared. Come and be prepared. And
Yeah.
then life will be a little bit easier. I mean, we cannot promise easy, but easier will be something
It
if you
will
come prepared.
be challenging in a good way because you're gonna learn a lot and just be ready to grow.
Right.
That's you kind of have to grow and
Mhm.
evolve.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can say that the Mara of 2.5 years ago and to the Mara of today, would you see a lot of growth in the last 2.5 years?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like I really, really feel I was actually talking to a friend recently that it's such a huge difference between the person I was in high school and the person I am now. Um, it's incredible. So I'm super grateful for that. I'm
Right.
very grateful.
I'm really happy to hear that. And to end off our recording, do you have anything that you would like to share with maybe your family and friends back in Romania, or to anybody at all? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting me, for everyone who encouraged me to keep going, to be myself. I think that was a big thing. And you know, visit the Netherlands at least for a few days. It's really worth it. It's super fun. It's but if you're visiting, don't visit Amsterdam necessarily. Go
Yeah.
to Utrecht or
The other
a
cities are
smaller.
as beautiful, right?
It's so beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a nice place to see.
All right. And with that, everyone, I would like to thank Mara for this wonderful episode. And thank you for joining us. And Mara, how do we say goodbye in Romanian?
Well, you could say Papa. or pa, which is
Yeah.
bye.
Okay.
And
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
thank you for having
Bye.
me. Bye.